this while loop is for left to right movement. When this loop will stop, if pivot becomes smaller than the A of j, then start the next from right to left movement for j. In that case, we will check if pivot is smaller than A of j, then j will be decreased, j minus minus. Okay. So, and after that, when I and j stop, what we have done, see in this example, after, so I stop in this position, see in this position 6, and j stop in this position 4. So what we have done, we have interchanged this two elements. So after this two while loop, what I will do, I will interchange the elements in I and j, swap. Okay, now see, this swap will be continue, or it will be performed if the value of I and j having relation like this, I is less than j. If somehow I and j cross each other, or I becomes greater than j, I will stop. Correct? So this swap will be done if I is less than j, then we have to perform this swap operation. Else, if I becomes greater than j, what I will do, I will break this do loop. I will break this do loop. So this is my loop. Okay. After doing all these things, what is the last thing that we have done in the example? We have interchanged the pivot with ith element or jth, I minus 1th element or jth element. So after getting from this do while loop, I will perform another swap operation, which will be done between A, then pivot is chosen in the lth element. See which one is chosen as pivot. See, lth element is chosen as pivot element, this one. So I will interchange L and I minus 1th element. Now you can ask why, sir, not j is used. I will answer this question, but before this, just try to understand the whole algorithm. So swap the pivot position and the I minus j position. Okay. And finally, what I will do, I will return the position of the pivot. What is the now new position of the pivot? Obviously I minus 1. So I will return I minus 1. This is the position of the pivot. So this is the end of the function. So this is the end of the function. Just see the partition function. So again, the partition function, it will start with the initialization of pivot and initialization of left hand side index variable and right hand side index variable. Then I will perform the operation of left to right movement for ith index variable, which will check whether in left hand side all the smaller elements are not. So this is for left hand side smaller elements, correct? And this one is for right hand side greater elements. Okay. And after that, when I and j stop, what I will do, I will interchange the element present in I and j. So this is the swap function for interchanging those two. If I and j cross each other, if I becomes greater than j, that is the else part, I will break this while part, do while part, and then after coming from this do while or repetition part, I will interchange the pivot with the I minus 1th element, and then the new position of pivot becomes I minus 1th position. So I will return the I minus 1th position to which function? To this quick short function. Okay. And then this quick short function will call the two other quick short function. Clear? Now let us take the same example and try to dry run this. So the example is 5, Let's check the elements. 5 1 6 3 7 4 8. 5 1 6 3 7 4 8. So this is my whole array. This is my partition function. So this is my quick short function. So the index values are 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so L is see the first, when I call it the quick short, this is the quick short calling from the main function. So this is 0. So L will be initialized with 0 and H will be initialized with n minus 1. So for this example, L is 0 and H is 6. Okay, now then it will check for if L less than H. Yes, L is less than H. Then it will move to partition function. First it will move to partition function. So I am also moving to partition function. So in partition functions, the L and H same value, L and H 0 and 6. Then the variables I and J, variable I and variable J, and then the pivot. Okay, this three initialization. Pivot is initialized with A of L. A of L means A of 0. What is in A of 0? 5. So pivot is my 5. What is I? I is L plus 1. L is 0, so L plus 1 means 1. What is J? H. H is 6. So these are the initialization. Then I am moving to do while loop. In this while part, what I am checking? Pivot, which is what? 5. What is A of I? A of I means A of 1. What is in A of 1? 1. Pivot is greater than 1. So satisfying. So I plus plus. I becomes 2. Now what is the next element? 6. So this is 6. This one is not satisfying. So it will come out from the while loop. Now it will move to the next while loop. Okay. Now here pivot is 5. What is in A of J? A of J means A of 6. What is in A of 6? 8. So 8. 8 is greater than 5, satisfying J. So it will do J minus minus. J becomes 5. So now J becomes in this position. What is the new Jth element? It is 4. Now 4 is not greater than 5. So it will come out from the for loop. Now it will check what is the value of I and J. I is 2. J is 5. So I less than J satisfying. So it will interchange ith element and jth element. So it will interchange ith element and jth element. So this becomes 4 and this becomes 6. Done. Then so this is not. So again it will. So this while loop, this do while loop not ended. So it will again start from this position. Correct. So again pivot is 5. What is in A of I? A of I is 2. Sorry, A of 2 is 4. This one is 4. See, 5 greater than 4, satisfying I plus plus. I becomes 3. What is in 3? The element is 3. 5 greater than 3. I plus plus. What is in fourth position? 7. So this is 7. This one is not satisfying. It will come out from the loop. It will move into this part. Pivot is 5. What is in A of J? A of J means 6. So 6 greater than 5, satisfying J minus minus. J becomes 4 index value. So what is in 4 index value? It is 7. So 7 greater than 5, satisfying. J becomes minus minus 3. What is in 3? The element is 3. In 3, the element is 3. Now it is not satisfying. It will come out from the for loop. Now it will compare I and J. What is the value of I? 4. What is the value of J? 3. This is not satisfying. This if part is not satisfying. So it will move into else part. It is calling the break. So it will come out from the do while loop. After coming out from the do while loop, it will face the swap function for this statement. For swap function, this statement means L is 0. And what is I minus 1? I is 4. I minus 1 is 3. So it will interchange 0th index value and 3 index value. So this two element, this element and this element will be interchanged. So what will happen? 3 will come here and 5 will come here. So now it becomes 3, 1, 4, 5, 7, 6, 8, and then we return I minus 1. What is I minus 1? I is 4, so I minus 1 is 3. So 3 is returned to this function. 3 is returned into this function. So now P becomes, what is the value of P? Now P becomes 3. So now it will call two different quick short functions. One is for AL, what is the value of L? It is 0. What is P minus 1? The value of P is 3. So 2, 0 to 2. So these are the index value. If you see, these are the index value. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one function, one quick shot will be called for 0 to 2, 0 to 2. So it means this part. Okay. Another quick shot is for P plus 1. P is 3. So it becomes 4 and H is 6. Okay. So another quick shot will be called for 4 to 6 for this part. Okay. So again, it will call the partition. So see, one element is shorted. Then in the next iteration, next two elements will be shorted. And when the elements become this L and H become the relation of L and H becomes like this or like this, we will stop calling the quick short, and this way you will get the whole array in shorted form. So this is the whole quick short function, and this is how this quick short function will run. So I have done a dry run, and you have to write the swap function also. Swap function will be like this, very simple. Void swap integer a array integer x, integer y. Then inside the function, you have to take a third variable t, then t equal to a of x, then a of x equal to a of y, and then a of y equal to t. So that's all. So this is the swap function. So this is the whole quick short algorithm. It's pseudocode. You can say the pseudocode or original C code. You can write it's in a form of algorithm also. This is some example of this quick short. And finally, now the next step is to how to calculate the time complexity. Before the time complexity, I want to discuss why we have not chosen jth position, but we have chosen I minus 1th position. Why? Why this is, why we are choosing this one, not this one. See, from the example, both j and I minus 1 will give you same value. See, what is the value of j? 3. What is the value of I minus 1? This is also 3. So why not j rather than I minus 1? That is very important question. Now see, what happened if there is, suppose your array is like this. Suppose 5, 1, 3, 7, 5, 8. Okay, suppose your array is like this. So what you will do, you will start with this pivot element. This one is smaller than pivot, you will move forward. So this is your I, and suppose this is your j. So this one is smaller than, so you will move forward. Now I is in this position. This one is also smaller than pivot. I will move forward. Now this one is greater than pivot. I will stop here. So I will stop here. Now j will start. J will check whether it is greater than pivot or not. See, 8 is greater than pivot, so it will move forward. Clear? Now this one is not greater than pivot, so it will stop. So now it will stop. So what is the next step? So j will stop in this position. So what is the next step? The element in I and j will be interchanged. So after interchanging, your picture will be like this. This is pivot. This is 1, 3, and this is after interchanging. 5 will come here, 7 will come here, and this is your 8. So after interchanging. Okay. Now I in this position, j in this position. Now again you will go for comparison because I and j not crossed each other. So this one is smaller than pivot. No. So I will, as it is in this position. Now j loop will start. This one greater than pivot. So J minus minus. Is this greater than pivot? No. So J will stop in this position. Now see, in this case, both I and J become equal. When both I and J become equal, when there is a duplicate element same as pivot. We have chosen pivot 5. If there is another 5 in the array, then what will happen? Both I and J will stop at the same position. Now see, if we interchange pivot with jth element, what will happen? 5 will be interchanged with 5. So it will no effect in the solution. But if I interchange, in this case, if I interchange pivot with I minus 1, what is I minus 1? This is the I minus 1. I is this position, I minus 1 is this position. So now if I interchange this two, see, it will give us a sorted array. It will give us a sorted array. Pivot will get its proper position. This side and this side, two different sides. But if I interchange with jth element, 5 will be interchanged with 5, which will be no effect. But if I interchange with I minus 1, then I will get one sorted sequence. That's why we prefer I minus 1, because I minus 1 is satisfying in this case where there is no duplicate like pivot, and it is also satisfying when there is one element same like pivot. So that's why we prefer, instead of J interchange, we always prefer I minus 1 interchange, and I will return this I minus 1 back. I hope it is clear. Why instead of J we are using I minus 1? Is it okay? Any query regarding this? Otherwise, I will move into time complexity calculation. Okay, so no query. So either you understood everything or you have not understood anything. Okay, so this is your quick shot. This is the calling for the quick shot for 0 to n minus 1th element. Then this is the pivot element. This pivot element is compared with rest of the array elements. Okay. So how many comparison? Pivot is compared with rest of the array elements. So how many comparison? N minus 1 comparison. And see, once I and J will cross each other, I and J will cross each other. It means there will be one element which will be compared twice. It means plus 1. So pivot will be compared not only n minus 1 element, but one element will be compared twice with the pivot. So how many comparison? So n comparison. I hope it is clear. See, in this quick shot algorithm, what we are doing, we are comparing pivot with rest of the elements. How many rest of the elements? N minus 1. But since I and J cross each other, it means there will be one element that will be compared twice. That's why I am increasing the value by plus 1. So this is the number of comparison to partition the array. So this is the time required for partitioning. I hope it is clear. For partitioning, we require this amount of comparison. And after this amount of comparison, what I will get? I will get two sub-arrays. Two sub-arrays. Correct? Now see, one element is sorted. and I am getting two different sub-arrays. So I can assume that the two sub-arrays, this is initially of n element. Now these two sub-arrays are almost equal to n by 2. And this is, remember, for the best case. This is for the best case. When we will get the best case? If the sub-arrays or sub-problems are of equal size. Remember this. These two sub-problems are of equal size, then we can say that this is the best case. Now see, the best case scenario is changing with each and every algorithm. For bubble sort, best case is a different thing. For selection sort, we have seen best case is a different thing. Now in quick sort, again, best case is a different thing. It gives you best case time complexity if after partitioning, the two sub-arrays becomes equal size, almost equal, not exactly equal, but it depends on odd and even number of elements. If you have odd number of elements, then you can say there is a probability or chance that the two sub-arrays are of equal size. But if there are even number of elements, then obviously in one side there will be one extra and in another side there will be one less. Okay. So if your sub-arrays are of almost equal size, equal in size, almost, if we should mention one term, almost, okay, almost equal in size, then we can say it will give us the best case. When we will get the worst case, I have already discussed the worst case scenario. If the pivot become max or mean, if pivot become max or mean, then this picture becomes like this. This is pivot. Suppose pivot is the minimum. So this is pivot. Clear? In one side, how many elements? In this side, how many elements? If this is the minimum element, then obviously in this side there will be 0 element, and in this side there will be n minus 1 element. So this will give you the worst case time complexity. So when I will get worst case time complexity, it becomes selection sort. It becomes selection sort. Now the question is, we have already seen pivot selection is the most important. If pivot become max or mean, it will give us the worst case time complexity. Same as selection sort. Then can you tell me when we will get the best case time complexity, so that we will get two equal size sub-arrays? Which value of pivot will satisfy this? Please, anyone? Which value of pivot will satisfy best case? Ayush, please. Abhay, Abhishek, anyone, please. Which value of pivot will satisfy best case? Yes.
Say average of maximum and minimum.
Not average, it will be called like median. Remember this. If your pivot is the median element, then you can satisfy this best case. If your pivot is max or mean, then it will satisfy worst case. Okay, so that's why pivot selection is the most important. I have not told you what value of pivot will satisfy the best case. Now I am telling you the median value from the array will satisfy the best case criteria. And best case means the two sub-arrays of almost equal in size. Okay, now try to calculate the time complexity. So for this sub-array, again I will call the quick sort. For this sub-array, again I will call the quick sort. So what is the total time? So this is my first quick sort. For how many elements? For n number of elements. So T of n. time complexity to sort n number of elements. For doing this, what I have done, if you see the algorithm of the main quick sort, you will see I have done three things. First, this one, partition. Second, one quick sort. Third, another quick sort. So if I convert it into my time complexity, it will be like this. So total time required to sort n number of elements. First, I will call the first part. So time required to partition n number of elements plus time required to sort n by 2 elements. See, for best case, I am calculating this for best case. So after first partition, my subarrays are almost equal in size. Almost equal means n by 2, you can say. So for sorting n number of elements, first the time required to partition n number of elements. After that, first quick sort, time required to sort n by 2 element. Then the second quick sort. So let us write it like this, not like this. Partition for n, then quick sort for n by 2 plus quick sort for n by 2. I hope this is clear. The time complexity equation is clear. This is the actual quick sort. Quick sort for n is equal to partition, the first thing, then the second quick sort, then the third quick sort. So these three things we have done inside the quick sort function. So the equation will be like this: T of n. What is the time required to partition? I have already discussed. See, this is the time required for partitioning n number of comparison. Okay, so you can write it like this: n into c. C is constant time for one element. So for n element, n into c plus, if T of n is the time required to sort n number of elements, then what should be the time required to sort n by 2 element? It is obviously T of n by 2. And this part again T of n by 2. So now I am having a equation, a recurrence relation like this. So what I have to do? I have to solve this recurrence relation. So this is for best case. Now, what is for the worst case? T of n for partitioning, same time n into c. Now in worst case, in one side there will be 0 element, so plus T of 0. In another side it will be n minus 1 element, so plus T of n minus 1. So it means the relation is like this: n into c plus T of n minus 1. So this is the recurrence relation for worst case. This is for best case and this is for worst case. Okay. Now for worst case, if we solve this in the next iteration, it becomes n into c plus c. If Tn equal to this, then what is T of n minus 1? Obviously n minus 1 into c plus T of n minus 2. So if I put this into this equation, I will get T of n equal to n into c plus n minus 1 into c plus n minus 2 into c. In this way it will move forward and it will, after some time it becomes 1 into c. So this is sum of n to 1. So obviously it is order of n square, same as selection sort. Now try to understand this side, the best case, how to solve this. So this is Tn, n into c plus 2 t n by 2. This is the first equation. Okay, from this I want to calculate what is the value of n by 2. The value of t n by 2 obviously into c plus 2t n by 2 square. Correct? Now this is second equation. How many tn by 2 we required? We required 2 tn by 2. So multiplying both sides using 2. Then what will happen? It becomes 2t n by 2 equal to n into c plus 2 square t n by 2 square. This is third equation. Now I am putting 3 into 1. If I put 3 into 1, this equation, it becomes tn. Okay, first n into c, next 2t n by 2. What is 2t n by 2? It is n into c plus 2 square t n by 2 square, which is equal to, now nc 2 times, so 2 into n into c plus 2 square t n by 2 square. So this is another equation after second. So this is after first iteration, first partitioning. This is after second partitioning. So after first partitioning, it is like this. It is like this. 1. After second partitioning, it is 2nc 2 square t n by 2 square. Now I have to check for the third partitioning. So what will happen? So I have to calculate t n by 2 square value from equation 1. From equation 1, if I want to calculate t n by 2 square, it will be like this. N by 2 square into c plus 2t n by 2 cube. Correct? Now I required how many like this? How many t n by 2 square? I required 2 square into. Is 4 like this. So I will multiply both sides into 2 square. Then what I will get? 2 square t n by 2 square equal to n into c plus 2 square 2 means 2 cube t n by 2 cube. So this is fourth equation. Now what I will do? I will put 4 into 1. Sorry, 4 into this one. This is fourth equation. This becomes fifth equation. So now I am putting 5 into 4. If I put this equation, this value into this equation, then what I will get? I will get t of n equal to 2 into n into c. Then this will be replaced by this value. So n into c plus 2 cube t n by 2 cube. Okay. Now if I move forward from this, 2 nc and another nc, so it becomes 3 into nc plus 2 cube t n by 2 cube. So this is the equation after third iteration. So see, after first iteration, 1 nc to the power 1 t n by 2 to the power 1. After second iteration or second partitioning, it becomes 2nc 2 square t n by 2 square. After third partitioning, it becomes 3nc 3 cube n by 3 cube. So if I move forward, and we hope that it will stop at the kth iteration or kth partition, then the equation will becomes like this: k into n into c plus 2 to the power k t of n by 2 to the power k. And we already know after this type of partitioning, k partitioning, our array becomes single element. Correct? It means n by 2 to the power k becomes 1. So it is n becomes 2 to the power k. It means k is equal to log of n. Okay. Now if I put this n by 2 to the power k equal to 1 in this equation, it becomes like this. K is log n. So I am writing n into k means log n into c. Now 2 to the power k means n, 2 to the power k means n into t of 1. And what is the time complexity to sort one single element? We know this is equal to 0. So if I put here 0, it is only n into log n into c. This part is 0. So my total time complexity becomes this one, n into log n into c. It means I can avoid the constant term. So the time complexity is n log n, and which is smaller than order of n square. So this is better than other time complexities. So remember, this is for the best case time complexity, and this calculation may come in your exam. How to get the best case time complexity? You have to start from there. You have to start from this. First, you have to write a small part of the code, means this one. You have to write this one first. Only this part, this part, this part. First, you have to write this code. Then from this code, you have to mention that the time complexity will be partition, this one, this. Then from this, you have to move step by step into this. From this, you can also move into the worst case time complexity. So this is the calculation of the time complexity. Okay. So I hope it is clear for quick short.